Hey Janksters, what's happening? Today I decided to be silly. I'm going to tell you right now, save your wildcards on this one. Today, this is just a show. Don't craft this deck. You don't want it. But I wanted it, so I've got it. This is Breaching Dragonstorm. I love Unexpected Results. Unexpected Results is a sorcery for 4 where you basically just free cast a random thing out of your deck. Breaching Dragonstorm is doing something very similar, except it costs 5 and it can reload itself more consistently if you're playing dragons. It's basically Discover 8 on an enchantment. That's all you're getting. And so, if you have a very powerful 8-drop in your deck, then cool. Yeah, you could spin it, but you might not. So, of course, we do have a very powerful 8-drop in this deck, and that's Dracogenesis. And it's a 4-of. Mythic wildcard that I think is genuinely a terrible mythic wildcard. I'm going to just say that. I'm playing 4 of them, and I love it in this deck. But save your wildcards, because Omniscience is legal in Standard. And in 90% of decks where you could play Dracogenesis, you'd be better served just playing Omniscience. I know if you're ramping, 8 and 10 are very different, but if you're cheating it in, why would you cheat in one and not the other? Well, because we're capped at 8. That's why we're cheating in Dracogenesis. But when you get Dracogenesis down, all your dragons become free. So if we have a whole butt-ton of dragons in our hand, all of a sudden, they're all free. That's great. So how do we get a whole butt-ton of dragons into our hand, I wonder? Well, we have a butt-ton of dragons in the deck. Why do I keep saying butt-ton? I don't know. I just do. So how do we run a butt-ton of dragons and still have a deck that's, going to survive long enough to play the dragons? Well, the way we do that is with omens. So the new omen mechanic, it's similar to Adventure, except instead of going into the exile zone, they get shuffled back into the deck, which, given that this deck is free spinning into our deck with the Breaching Dragonstorm, just putting more dragons into our deck is great. And so we're using cards like the Stormbroods, like the Disruptive Stormbrood or the Twinmaw Stormbrood, because they're early removal, they're like big dragons that aren't worth the price independent of the omen. But if the Breaching Dragonstorm spins into one of those dragons, we put a dragon on the field, and the Breaching Dragonstorm goes back into our hand. So we're locked and loaded for the next turn. Not bad, right? So as a result, some of our biggest whiffs on the Breaching Dragonstorm would be Disruptive Stormbrood, Sagu Wildling, Bloomvine Regent, all fine cards, and putting a decent-sized body on the battlefield, and it basically not costing us any cards because the Dragonstorm goes right back to our hand. That is significant. That's no joke if we can get that working. Now, ideally, perfect scenario, we throw the Breaching Dragonstorm right on 5 or on 4 if we were successful in ramping earlier, and then we spin into a Dracogenesis and then just throw a bunch of stuff from our hand onto the battlefield, which would include a Terror of the Peaks, so all of our dragons that are entering are dealing damage, and then we also have a Stormscale Scion in here, because if we're successful in hitting that just dream scenario and throw a Stormscale Scion where X equals, or where our storm count is 5 or 6, that's just absurd, and I'm here to do absurd today. That's the goal of this deck. If we can end with a 30% win rate, but 2 or 3 really sick clips, I'm going to call that a win. Genuinely, that's what we're doing here. Now, you'll notice a little elephant in the room that's over on the right-hand side your left of this screen, Up the Beanstalk. That's right, I'm running 4 Up the Beanstalks in this deck. Because this card is unfair, broken, and should have been banned, but it wasn't, so let's take advantage. So this 2-drop, when it enters, it draws you a card, and every time you cast another spell, basically, throughout the course of the game, it's going to draw you a card. So we have the Beanstalk Overlord package, because of course we do, but you'll notice all of the Omen dragons, with the exception of the Scavenger Regent that we have in this deck, all cost 5 or more. So if we could throw a Breaching Dragonstorm, spin into one of our 5-drop dragons, say a Disruptive Stormbrood, we have now drawn 2 cards because we cast the Dragonstorm and then we cast the Stormbrood. And then the Dragonstorm is back into our hand, so we're locked and loaded to do it again next turn, and our hand is absolutely loaded. As you can imagine, with Up the Beanstalk, Terror of the Peaks, Dracogenesis, once we get that thing going, we just vomit our hand onto the board, and our hand keeps refilling as we do. So it is a pretty easy infinite that genuinely, the amount of damage that this could produce could clean out an entire commander pod, even where one person is playing life gain. That's how much damage we could theoretically deal. Obviously, in a 1v1 standard environment, we don't need to hit for that much, but let's do it anyway. So let's jump out and get some gameplay in and see if I can do the thing once or twice. You know, without the mana to play the Up the Beanstalk, I kind of hate this hand. If we find a single green source, actually, if we find just an untapped land, the Bloomvine Regent is going to get us all the forests we need. You know, screw it. I'm going to run this. This is risky. This is crazy risky. I'm just going to lead off with a friggin' Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Nothing says I don't have a plan more than a Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon dropping at this point in the game. All right, and we did find an untapped land. Sick, nasty. I'm going to go ahead and have this Disruptive Stormbrood kill Skrelv. I suppose the Twinmaw might have been the better choice there, but this next turn I'm going to be able to throw the Swamp, claim territory off the Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon, which is going to allow me to play the green here. Go grab 2 forests. We're just set up for success. Perfect. All right, our opponent on some flavor Selesnya, and they didn't play a 2-drop, which, okay, interesting. So this next turn, we can just throw the Breaching Dragonstorm, spin it to win it, and see what happens, or we could establish the Beanstalk, but it's not just the Beanstalk, it's 2 Beanstalks. I'm going to do that. Having drawn the Beanstalk, I definitely want to keep this moving, because if we spin to a Dracogenesis, I need to be able to play said Dracogenesis. So, beans, the musical fruit. We got these going, and I found a land for my troubles. I'll take it. All right, so this next turn, we're going to throw the Breaching Dragonstorm and probably draw at least... Well, we will draw at least 2 cards. We will probably draw 4, in all likelihood. And we might just combo kill and win the game. We'll find out, shall we? Bright Glass Gearhulk, freaking red, and you're going to grab Venerated Rot Priest. Oh, you're that kind of gamer opponent. I see you. All right. Breach me, baby. Another Breaching Dragonstorm. Another Beans. Holy balls. All right, spin it to win it. What do we got? Stormscale Scion, not amazing here. It is going to draw some more cards, and we are going to get 2 of them. So it is 2 5/5 flyers. Like, that's not nothing. It's actually quite a lot of somethings. I don't need all 4 Breaching Dragonstorms in my hand. I really don't. Or do I? So, yeah, Rot Priest, Bright Glass Gearhulk into Rot Priest is pretty gross. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be tough to deal with those if I'm going to try to remove them. I don't think I am, though. I think I'm just going to fire the Breach and just pray again and hope for the best. You know? Shelter by Ghost, thanks. I hate it. Yeah, you hit the token. That is super correct. Now, wait a minute. Whenever creature control becomes target of a spell, yeah, they could have played 2 Rot Priests down first. This thing's got first strike, so come on in, buddy. Welcome to my face. Welcome to my face. Yeah, if I were them, I would have gone Rot Priest, then Shelter. But I'm assuming they're holding back something. Exactly what that something is, I have no idea. But, like, why would you go grab Rot Priest and then not use them? There it is. All right. So, I got saved. Yeah, I definitely dodged a bullet there. There was a lot more damage they could have... or there were quite a few poison counters that they could have stacked. Draco, no! There's 1 Dracogenesis in our hand. Come on, what do we find on the top? Sagu Wildling. Not ideal. Not ideal at all. Unfortunate, if I do say so myself. Alright. Gaining a little bit of life's not nothing, but it might as well be nothing. I'm just going to keep my blockers back. I don't think Cavern of Souls is going to be super meaningful. Actually, wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold up. Wait a minute. I was about to throw the Dracogenesis, not realizing that I will have the mana next turn to play the Dracogenesis. So, I just have to survive this turn, hardcast Dracogenesis with the double beans and a terror, and just mow them down. Okay. Now, that said, they got double rot. They got double rot and 5 mana open. Like, a lot can happen here. So, opponent, what you working with? What you thinking? It's up to you. It's all on you. No pressure. But, that is one thing I like about the ramp in this deck, is sometimes this goofy plan B, it gets us there. You know? Because that's what this is. This is a goofy plan B. Yeah, just the Gearhulk? That's fine. I'm trying to prevent the poison. 30 damage. Yeah, you got it, dog. Treat yourself. I'm going to name Dargans. So, do they have instant speed? Yeah, do they have instant speed enchantment destruction? There's a good chance they do. Yeah, they do. Doggone it. Heritage Reclamation. Fair enough. Well, we got a tear down. That's neat. All right, 29 cards deep. We still have 3 more Dracogenesis in the deck. Yeah, all of this has been incredibly unfortunate. Yep. We got a bite there. Fair enough. Sad days for me. All right. I want to hang on to my dragons because I think we just breach again and hope. Or we throw the Scavenger Regent, wipe their board real quick. You know what? I'll take another hit. That'll be all right. It might not be all right, but I'm hopeful that it'll be all right. Okay, so yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and hit this. Draw the 2 off beans. Their board has been cleanly cleaned up. Pop, pop, and pass. Drop a Sagu Wildling. I can live with that. All right, we answered 3 Rot Priests and a Bright Glass Gear Hulk. That seems dece. Seems dece to me. All right. Dece to me? I don't know. Let us spin it to win it. Let's see what we got. Drawing a land, drawing more beans, which I'm for sure going to discard at the end of this turn because I for sure don't need it. There it is. We found it, everybody. Strike that, flip it, and reverse it. Excellent. TP in the mix. Let's go. And you know what's great about this? Now you'll notice, like, oh, yeah, no, we got it. GG's opponent. All right. I was about to say the Disruptive Stormbrood can blow up our own beans so we don't deck ourselves. You know, it's a cool little piece of tech there. Anyway. Hey, if you're enjoying this, please like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Ah. This looks like a pretty easy mull to me. Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon is a pretty slick land for us, but this is just like, yeah, 2 mana, a lot of unplayables. The Scavenger Regent, we have 3 of them, and we've seen 3 of them over the course of the last 2 hands, which maybe they're looking out for me? I don't know. I'm going to try this. Not having more green. Actually, we don't have a single green source, but we now found the Breaching Dragonstorm, and we do have a red source. That's great. I'll take that. All right. So the Disruptive Stormbrood, being able to kill a creature with power 3 or less might be relevant. Okay, not really. I would rather avoid using like decent removal on a bunny rabbit if I can help it. I don't believe that they're going to do anything with that other than, well, yeah, they might try to go wide. In which case, well, maybe seeing so many Scavenger Regents was a sign. Maybe our top decks are looking out for us here. I don't know. Let's go ahead and go Thornspire Verge and pass. All right, we do need to find enough land, so we ultimately need to get to 5 and throw the Breaching Dragonstorm. That's bottom line. That's got to happen one way or another. Caretaker's Talent, Natch. Yep, that makes sense. Cool, cool, cool. And they can go ahead and send it in. Pull one on my face right there. It's absolutely welcome. Bring it in. Bring it in, bud. Up the Beanstalk here is so awkward. It is so awkward. Not being able to cast that is such a buzzkill. I'm not going to lie. That's one thing. Our mana base is scuffed. I'm going to say that, like, without a shadow of a doubt, like, with no hyperbole. It's not good. Now, that's a lot of bunnies, and that Scavenger Regent is going to line up very nicely. Another Beanstalk. Awkward as heck. All right, so each non-dragon is going to get -1, -1. Hopefully, that is enough to slow them down meaningfully. That was a clean answer to a hop to it. Unfortunately, we missed our frickin' land drop. Sad days. Another hop to it. All of a sudden, throwing that other Scavenger Regent. I had no reason to believe that was going to be good. Well, this good anyway, but doggone it. Just bunnies. Just mono white bunnies being bunnies. Oh, sick and or nasty. That's fantastic. So, we're able to hit this Beanstalk. Draw that card. Draw that sweet, sweet card. And I am going to go ahead and throw some Petty Revenge just to get rid of one of the dudes. Not great, but hopefully it'll slow him down a little bit. So the mountain unlocking this Verge was priceless. If we can find an untapped land here, we can throw the Breaching Dragonstorm and maybe see what happens. If we can spin to a Dracogenesis, these triple terrors could be pretty dangerous. If we don't find that, we can throw the Up the Beanstalk and just keep digging. So, can that hit? That is only creatures. Creatures without flying, no less. All right, Beans, find me a land, please. Are you mocking me? Top decks, what's wrong with you? Normally, I'm overjoyed to see the Overlord of the Hauntwoods with this many Beanstalks. Normally. But normally, I'm not running Maelstrom of the Spirit Dragon. Yeah. So our opponent over here with Caretaker's Talent, Elspeth Stormslayer, and just some decent token generators. Very honest approach by our opponent. I can't be mad. I can be a little bummed, but I can't really be mad at it, you know? It's fine. Buff the token critters. Give everybody the counter. Yep. So I basically need to find an untapped land, and the Breaching Dragonstorm needs to find the Dracogenesis. Okay, straight up, if that Dracogenesis was a card lower and there was an untapped land between it and me, I would have won this game. Believe it or not. But, alas, it is not to be. I see a Breach, and this Fabled Passage can get us a red source in a pinch. I do not like having the Dracogenesis in hand. We also have 0 ramp pieces. This is risky. Let's keep it. The Scavenger Regent will actually be able to fire reasonably quickly. I'm going to lead off with the Maelstrom. I don't want to commit the Fabled Passage yet, because if we draw into like a Sagu Wildling or something, I really want to be able to fire this for green. Whereas I don't want to be stuck without a red, you know, with it. So actually, finding the Wastewood Verge, amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So now we can play the Swamp. We're going to have Scavenger Regent on 2. Fabled Passage can now go get us a red, and I don't feel bad about it. Sick. Sick and or nasty. So we're going up against Esper, which means, you know, I'm about to roll my eyes at a lot of stuff our opponent's doing. Sorry. It could be Control. It could be Pixie. The fact that they're drawing and, you know, the fact that they're just going draw-go tells me that it is some flavor of Control. They might have the, well, yeah, I don't know. You know, Flood Pits and whatnot is probably happening over there. So let's go ahead and grab a red here. I'm just going to play the Scavenger Regent out. It's a 4/4 with Ward, so if they're rocking kill spells, this thing's going to be kind of a pain in the butt 2-for-1. If they counter it on the stack, so be it. But I'm going to give them something to react to that is uncomfortable to react to. That's my thought. So Scavenger's Talent's live. Perfect. That's kind of plan B for why that's in the deck. It's mainly here as a board wipe, but I'm liking it right now. Pixie with nothing to pick up. Let's go. Oh, that makes me happy. They have a Kieran in hand, probably. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and hit this with some Petty Revenge. They're going to probably bounce it with the Sun Pearl Kieran, and then I'm just going to use the Disruptive Stormbrood to kill that to Kieran, and then punch him in the mouth for 4. That's my thought as to what's going to happen here. I could be wrong. We'll see. We'll find out. Oh, just going to this down? Discarding a Nowhere to Run? Okay. Dude, Scavenger's Talent did its job. That is fine. We pulled a this down and a Nowhere to Run, you know, out of their hand. Amazing. Truly amazing. And they're going to just a hard cast Kaido?
Don't worry, Jack.
Bruh. All right. We take these. If we find an untapped land, I can throw the Breaching Dragonstorm here and try to value pop. This is one of the slowest starts I think I've ever seen from that Esper deck. Yeah, this looks like a net deck with a bad mull. Is what it looks like to me. Like, this looks like just a bad mulligan. So here we go. Locked and loaded. Breach on 5. Let's go. Dracogenesis. Now, this is savage. This is beautiful. This is sick nasty. Unfortunately for me, I don't have Beanstalk down at this moment. That said, the amount of value we're about to get here is fine. You know, Twinmaw comes out down. 5 damage to the face. We gain some life. I'll be surprised if they don't scoop this. Unless they're running like Sunfall or something random like that. But yeah. I'm gonna submit 0. I would like to keep that around if I may. Yeah, and I would be surprised if that Esper deck. So this was not ideal in that we didn't have our card draw, but we had a great spin off the Breach. Alright. Helpless Nightmare, you got 1, and you have the Pixie in hand, so you're gonna strip the Breach out of my hand. That's, you know, clean play. I can't deny it. So I'm not gonna be able to fire this Breach again. And we'll take 4, and they're gonna have a 2/2 blocker down. Good on them for sticking it out. But yeah, I'm definitely swinging in here. And if we draw into any spells, I'm going to be able to play them. And well, except that one. Nice. But all my creatures line up decently against these, unless they want to double block something. But even then, these are 5/4s, so like they could double block the Scavenger, but then they're dead. So no, they can't. I'm pretty sure we still have it. Like, and they're going to be able to Hopeless Nightmare this Dracogenesis, and I just don't care. Yeah, just the concede by no blocks. GG's opponent. I see Beans. I see Breach. I do not see the means by which to cast the beans, so that could be an issue. But all we need to do is find a mountain or forest, and all of a sudden, that is online. So I'm going to try it. To say this is dangerous, like, I really wish this led green. Man, that'd be so nice. All right, Twinmaw Stormbrood, get out of here, I guess. So, yeah, the Pixie deck. Oh, baby, baby. That's amazing. All right, we found it. We found it, everybody. Check that out. Whee! Dracogenesis. Why do I keep drawing you? Oh, yeah, because I'm running 4 of you. That's why. I can complain about the shuffler or just accept that, you know, I made this bet. I'm going to lay in it. Second beans? We've had 1 beans. What about second beans? Okay. So, is this mono black running Hopeless Nightmare? It appears to be mono black. Deep Cavern Bat. Hello. My Twinmaw Stormbrood can't touch you. So if our opponent knows what's good for them, they'll take the Breaching Dragonstorm, because that's kind of the whole impetus of this entire deck. And Twinmaw can't target the Deep Cavern Bat because it flies. If it didn't fly, this is removal. Because it does, this isn't. Yep, that was correct, opponent, and I'm upset. Unless I were to draw a Disruptive Stormbrood, then I would not feel upset. I would be pretty stoked. But I didn't, so I'm sad. And that's going to name Dargon. And they're going to fire a second Deep Cavern Bat and strip my terror. Just watch. I'll be shocked if they don't. Okay. Lils, what up? You going to force me to discard? That's fine. I'm going to drop this Dracogenesis. It's a million miles away. I'm never going to cast it. And your cut, yeah, that cut down is useless. You will never use that. So yeah, opponent, you right. You right. We're going to go ahead and crack this. Just going to go ahead and just casually crack this. I think this is going to go grab a Black Source. And just gonna throw the TP, draw 2. Another Dracogenesis. I'm not stoked on that, if I'm honest. Not super stoked. So Liliana's down tick is gonna line up nicely here. Unfortunately, quite nicely, as luck would have it. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna dump that Dracogenesis too. Like, I don't love drawing these, but yeah, what can you do? I can cry about it, and I will. Don't you worry. All right. Yeah, I don't think that Stormbrood is gonna line up nicely, unfortunately. Oh, you're going to make me discard.
You won't be
Which card?
me.
Intriguing. I really expected the down tick. Really expected the down tick. Okay. Oppo, you're the best. Thank you. All right. Bloomvine Regent coming on down. Drawing me 2 cards in the process. Ding, ding. We got double beans, baby. We got double beans. I'm going to just blast you real quick. 4 damage to a bat is like tremendous overkill, but I don't care. Gives me a clean shot on Lils. We got double beans live, like I was saying. Breaching Dragonstorm is now back in hand, and we've got 2 bodies. The fact that they didn't down tick to kill Terror is shocking to me. I get that they're playing the discard deck. You got to do what you got to do, but yeah. Okay, I know what you're thinking. But wait, how does that deck beat mono red or any of the red-based aggro decks? I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. There were about 7 games that just hit the cutting room floor that I'm not including here, where it was just me getting run over by Manifold Mouse. Don't craft this deck, I'm telling you. But at the same time, it was definitely a fun experiment. We had some fun janky moments. Thank you for tuning in and checking it out. It means a lot. Also, huge thank you to the patrons. Angry Jellyfish, Davey, Hal, Carl, Levi Grattan, Big Mamu, and Vance. You're freaking beautiful. I appreciate you. And if you, dear viewer, would like to join this list of amazing folks, you can do so over on Patreon. The name there, Hamhawks42. It would mean a lot, and for as little as $1 a month, you can get your name here and just know that I get all my adoration and appreciation. For real. For real. So thank you again, and I'll catch you on the next one, everybody.